call to order Snoqualmie Valley Hospital Committee, Snoqualmie Valley Hospital, Public Health Hospital number 4 to order. So meeting of the commissioners. It is Thursday, October 11th, 2018. Would our clerk please? What? Right. I always get that. I want to be called by. Okay, flag salute, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would the clerk do the roll call, please?
President Norris?
Here.
Vice President Aaron?
Here.
Secretary Spiker?
Here.
Commissioner Pollard?
Here.
Commissioner Young?
Here. Do I hear an approval of the agenda?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, then it passes. Do we have any public comment?
Scott Scowcroft, West Seattle, and I'd like to congratulate Tom on his new station in life, or what will be his new station in life, and also to congratulate him for his tenure here, which the adjectives that come to my mind are stability and professionalism and competence. I think that the hospital and clinic and district could have gone really south at one time, and no small measure due to Tom's leadership. That was avoided, and in fact, the hospital and the district has grown and matured during this period of time. Also, during this time that's to come, I think it's really important that this board speak with one voice, that you're mutually supportive of each other, and that you're positive, and that you avoid, that all of the members of this board avoid throwing obstacles in the way, that you don't sweat the small stuff, and that you're not petty. So I'm confident that you can go forward based upon the direction and the momentum that you've been able to achieve up until now, and look forward to successful affiliation negotiations and transforming the district to what it's going to become.
Thank you. Is there any other public meeting? I don't think so, so we will move on. Communications. I don't think I'll say anything tonight. I will let Tom have the floor.
Good. Thank you. You have in your packet my monthly report. I will be adding an addendum to that when we get to the, at the end of that. So starting with CEO departure, as you know, I've accepted a new position of CEO of Mammoth Hospital in Mammoth Lakes, California. The board, staff, and community have been informed, and I would like to now read my letter to the board announcing my resignation. Dear Commissioners, by the way, I know this is not news to you, but
You don't have a copy, huh?
I really wanted to read this tonight. Dear Commissioners, I want to let you know that I'll be leaving my position of CEO of Snoqualmie Valley Hospital. My preferred last day is November 24, 2018. I was recruited for and have accepted the position of CEO of Mammoth Hospital in Mammoth Lakes, California. The position at Mammoth Hospital affords me the opportunity to lead another high-quality, thriving organization, and one that is larger with a broader scope of services. It also brings Kristen and me closer to family in California, Utah, and Arizona. It has been an honor to lead and serve as COO and CEO of Snoqualmie Valley Hospital these past 8 years, and to serve the thousands of residents who depend on our hospital and clinics. It has been my great privilege to work with you and an exceptionally dedicated and skilled team of clinicians, support staff, managers, and executives who provide compassionate, technically skilled, and highly satisfying services to our patients, their family members, and the public. I'm proud of what we have accomplished as a team to assure the provision of safe and effective healthcare services and the long-term viability of the hospital. I know Snoqualmie Valley Hospital will continue to thrive as an increasingly indispensable provider of healthcare services in the region. The executive team is committed to our continued progress on our affiliation strategy. I plan to bring to the board at our November regular meeting a letter of intent with overlay for your approval, which will usher in the formal due diligence period. Dr. Whitcomb has agreed to take on additional responsibilities as needed and as directed by you to lead the affiliation project after my departure. Steve Daniel has indicated that the affiliation project is very important to him from a personal and professional standpoint, and as such has or will extend his planned retirement to the end of March. Plus or minus. Steve let me know today that. More, not minus, but if he has to go.
April Fool.
Because, he was pulling my leg. That's in order to support the due diligence process and the finalization of a definitive agreement. I am grateful to have served as your CEO these past few years. I wish you all my best for continued success. As you know, I'll do all I can to assure a smooth transition of my duties and active projects. With gratitude and warm regards, Tom. Okay, let me just jump right into affiliation strategy then.
Thank you. Thank you for the letter.
Overlake is working on its edits to a draft letter of intent that I provided them, which is based on the high-level deal points that I presented at the last regular board meeting. With respect to my departure, Mike Marsh, CEO of Overlake, has expressed a strong preference that we not introduce a new person into the affiliation process. We can discuss that more as you desire. Finances. The financial report will show that in August there was a net income of $84,000 compared to a budget net income of $139,000. Less than budget, of course. Unrestricted cash fell to $6.9 million due to payment to Medicare for the mid-year 2018 cost report reconciliation. Year-to-date, our net income is at $292,000 compared to a budget net income of $331,000, an unfavorable variance of $339,000. We'll talk about more of that when David reports on the Finance Committee. In August and through the rest of the year, each month we will have higher bookings of contractual adjustments, which reduces our net revenue, but it also will make for a more accurate estimate of our Medicare revenue. We're trying to get that big payback that we have every year down to a reasonable amount. Average daily census in August was 24.1 compared to the budget of 22.2. That's an occupancy rate of 96%. ED visits in July were 323 compared to the budget of 335. Operating expenses in July were 2% under budget, and we are 2% under budget year-to-date for expenses. September was also a strong month for inpatient census at 96% occupancy, but the ED only had 284 visits compared to our budget of 324. I am really excited about the next part of my report. We have received our survey, and both the hospital clinic and Ridge Clinic are now approved as rural health clinics. Enhanced Medicare revenue begins immediately, and Steve is working with Whitley, our cost report consultants and preparers, to produce an updated estimate of the revenue impact through the end of the year and also for next year for our budgeting purposes. You all know that we had a Department of Health survey. The plan of correction for the recent survey has been submitted. And a reminder, the survey produced a record low number of deficiencies at 12. We set a record. I'm pleased to report that the 2018 University of Washington Pharmacy Student Site Evaluation really was very favorable to us. Two of the points that I put up, there's a broad survey, but these are the highlights. Students reported that the amount of learning they had on a 5-point scale was 4.4, compared to an average for all other sites, all other hospitals training these pharmacists of 3.2. In terms of an environment conducive to learning, 4.9. Now, of course, 4.7 would be the average, but we still, 4.9 on a 5-point scale. Excellent. And Ron Bennett and his team of pharmacists do an excellent job of providing a really quality learning environment for UW pharmacy students. Lift and transfer training. This week we conducted lift and transfer training for all staff who work with patients. The training occurs each year and is designed to protect patients and staff by using approved techniques and assist equipment. Actually happens right here in this room. Ultrasound. We've hired a new ultrasonographer who has enabled us to expand the number and type of exams that we provide. It's pretty exciting. That list more than doubled in terms of the types of exams that we can provide. That list of exam types has now been provided to all area providers. Mount Si and Snow Valley Senior Center's fall prevention events. The turnout was very good at both the events. At the Snow Valley event on September 18th, we did a balance test for each attendee, and at Mount Si on the 19th, we did a lunch presentation on fall-proofing the home and avoiding falls. Susan Lord from our rehab department staffed the booth in the afternoon with materials about hospital and clinic services, including the We've Got Your Back flyer promoting outpatient rehab services to Apple Health enrollees. I will mention also that she won the raffle. And then just some calendar events for you as we look forward to our budgeting process, and our holiday party now scheduled for December 7th, and we'll be at the same place we were last year. It's a great venue. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Commissioner Pollard?
Yeah, on the rural health clinic, it says that this is going to result in enhanced Medicare revenue, and I realize that there are going to be some studies on that, but that's going to be through the end of the year. Will we have that in time for the budgeting process? And could you even at this time translate enhanced? What are we talking about? More.
And I'm not going to give you a number because it won't be right.
I can estimate it when I make my report.
Okay. Are you going to estimate it? All right, that's what I'm looking for. Thank you.
I have a
Let's
question.
see what you say.
The chair recognizes Commissioner Herron.
I have a question on item number 1 from the CEO departure. I asked the CEO if he would appoint me to a new committee called the Crying Committee as a chairperson, but he said I can't have one voice.
I told her she'd have to get a motion passed for that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, are there any other questions? Hearing none, we'll move on. Okay, I don't have, okay, and Skip, are you gonna, do you have a little tidbit to share with us? Jeff?
It's not Skip.
I know, Skip, I know it's not
We're not
Skip.
doing the.
We're not gonna do it.
My understanding was Skip is going to do the Robert's Rules of Order next month.
Okay, well, I just wanted to find out. It still says Skip on here, and I didn't know if you were gonna give us.
He asked me to pass that along to.
Okay, all right.
And so he's off to London
To see the Queen.
Watch the Seahawks?
watch the
Yeah.
Seahawks.
Yes.
Isn't that some?
My apologies, I
That's
should
pretty
have,
awesome.
I did that.
You only
That's all
got
right.
break.
All righty, consent agenda. Can I get a consent agenda for approval of the minutes, September 13, 2018, a regular meeting, and September 26, 2018, our work study session, and physician credentialing. Do I hear a
I make the motion.
I'll second it.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And now we're on to committee reports. Action requested as noted. Finance Committee. Mr. Spikers, you're on.
All right, thank you. And with all the news here, we'll probably have to revert to this incredible news from the CEO at some point, and we'll be sad to see him leave. Anyway, we started out, we had a little bit of a discussion on this out-of-state Medicaid requirement documentation. It's a federal CFR. I don't know if it's 21. I don't remember. That doesn't really matter. The fact is all of the commissioners, if we want to recoup certain payments on out-of-state Medicaid patients, sorry, not Medicare, Medicaid patients, we have to provide our Social Security number and our driver's license number. Now, I was a little bit off. I was like, wait a minute here. Now,
One of them was the way I wrote it up, I'll give you that.
and I said, wait a minute. If I have to put my Social Security number and my driver's license, I want to know
On every
every
bill.
one of these bills,
On every bill.
because it sounds to me I'm going to be responsible for them, but we're not. We're not responsible legally.
And it doesn't go on every bill.
And it only goes to the federal government, which already has this information already, about 17-fold probably, on all of the applications and things that we've probably been through in our lives. With that in mind, I think it's worth doing this so long as this information is, of course, protected in our system, so that it's not disseminated to the public or anything like that. So, $15,000 a year, and the more and more people that are visiting the valley here during the summer, especially, I think they're using our hospital, and it's probably a good idea to $15,000 is better than a kick in the pants. So let's.
Yep.
Can I add one item, David, on
Yeah.
that? Thank you. And this is an attestation that the organization and its governing officers and executive officers, Steve, Kim, and I are subject to it as well, that none of us have been excluded by CMS from participating in the Medicare program. That's the purpose. They want to verify that none of us have been kicked out in terms of being able to provide and bill for Medicare services.
And they're trying to stop the use of the use of fraud and that type of thing. And yeah, so that's, in the past, I'm sure that's happened on numerous occasions, and not in this district, but elsewhere, I'm sure. So, I'm going to ask that be approved, that we all do that. Confidentiality approved, of course. Our census was way up. Really had a good month, and we should have been right about what we thought. However, we're holding back an additional $47,000 some dollars, because that's what we project that we're going to end up, in addition to the other withholding to pay back Meridian or Medicare. I think that's a good idea. Let's just be straight and narrow right from the beginning. We're going to try and get as close as possible to the end of the year of the budget, so we're not sitting there for 5 months thinking, did we break even? Did we not? As if you recall, last year we were, I think, above. We were above the budget until we found out we owed money. So, it's just, I'm tired of letdowns. I'd rather be knowing what's going to happen in the future. So let's just be transparent. Let's be as accurate as possible. So that's what they're doing. That's why we're at $82,000 instead of $139 or whatever our budget was.
But the year-to-date, is this still accurate versus?
Yeah, we're still, and I can expect October probably to be pretty good.
Yeah,
November
not
and
bad.
December are generally not as good. So based on last, so we could be really close to breaking even this year.
Census is holding well.
So I know October is usually a pretty good month, but we'll see. The other thing that was really cool to find out in the meeting, I don't know if a couple months ago, I asked in our accounts receivable, where are we lagging, in what department areas? And to a surprise to all of us, our specialty outpatient care billing is averaging, I think it was around 66.
66 about.
66, and however, our clinics were way below the average. We're right just over 30 days accounts receivable, and then the other swing bed was right about what we thought,
Yeah.
45 days. So we'll work on that. I think the staff's going to work on that and kind of see what they can do and see what's causing the clog, so to speak. And so that's really good news, good work to find all of that out. I know it does take time. I had a couple other notes here. We're way over on our repairs because we had an MRI machine go down, and that's why some of the MRI work, I believe, is down also. And so had to fix it. Had some repairs. The good thing is our expenses are down. They've been down all year a little bit, which proves to me that really people are really taking good care of not being wasteful with anything.
Yeah.
And that's such a good feeling to know that when you're a public servant, you're trying to do your best to make sure that their tax monies are spent wisely. And I think in this case, we've proven.
Thank you. I think it's important for us to appreciate the work that we've been on austerity program for the last 2.5 years since I've been.
So,
Thank you.
sure. And
That
I didn't do it.
reflection.
I did not do it. The staff did it. I just merely take the information and I give it to the rest of the board. Of course, I'm somewhat persuasive at times to push, but it's not my work. It is the staff that does it. So thank you for that. The last thing, I think some people are wondering, are we making our bills for the payments for the the hospital? Are we making all of our covenants? Doing all of, yeah, we are. We're way above what we're supposed to be doing. We're 172 days of cash reserves to pay people. The only thing we are down, the only thing in this whole mess, I don't want to say it's a mess, but this whole profile, is that we projected a little bit more cash than what we have, and the reason is our emergency room and our outpatient services are below what we thought. And had they just gone even 10% more, we would be at or better than what our projections were. So we're not that far off, and all the more reason affiliation will help with this, I think, and bring that to
And RHC came on later than we had hoped.
the what?
The rural health clinic.
Yes, and the rural health clinic would have had, and my comments, I think the estimates were somewhere, and I'm just thinking, it was somewhere around $150,000 a year.
So you're actually a little low.
A little low? Yeah. Was it 300,000? They was for six.
I'm going to refine it and get that.
I think it was, that was, for 150,000 for this year if we started in May.
Yeah.
So it's around, it'll be about 250,000 for the year.
On an
Annually. And for the rest of the year, we're going to end up with another 60,000, or maybe something like that.
Safe.
Yeah.
That's pretty safe.
So that's good. We're all back. That's what we were hoping for. And next year, when Fred Meyer opens things up and well, what was it, Fred Meyer and
Kroger, yes.
Kroger opens the,
Kroger for QFC and Fred Meyer.
yeah, we
Yeah.
could probably end up with additional cash on that too, so. So it looks like it's going pretty well. Is there any questions right now on anything that I covered?
Did you want to talk about the CEO incentive?
Well, we're postponing the CEO and incentive program in lieu of the circumstances at this point. I was really hoping that, I really hoped that Tom would get a bonus and I pushed for immediately for this year if he could get budget.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really appear that we're going to end up in that category, unfortunately, and I was hoping that we were.
Appreciate it.
Because if we were, we'd have extra money to give Tom, no problem, right? And we'd have a lot more money at the end of the year, so anyway, we're postponing that. I don't think that that's going to be an issue right now in lieu of the circumstances, and I think that's about it.
Did you want to make a motion for approval of the warrants?
I would move for approval of the warrants, and let me just read them out because I want to make sure they're the right ones that I can recall. Somewhere. Sorry for the delay. There they are. I don't think they've ever been wrong, but
I hope not.
we do have a large warrant.
I see that.
And it's $4,629,329.62. Must have been a double payroll, triple payroll month.
Is
Is that right? No?
It's only,
August.
For August?
Yes.
The Medicare payment.
Oh, that's right. No, never mind.
oh, okay.
We had,
that
now I know.
explains, okay.
We had
1.3.
1.3.
That makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a big.
okay.
So if you reduce that, we're at 3.3.
Yeah, because I was going to ask, normally it's,
Yeah.
this is an unusual number.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That explains.
So, with that in mind, I asked at this time to approve the warrants as
I
listed.
make a motion that we approve the warrants.
I'll second it. Is there any,
Sorry, Commissioner Spicer, is it moved?
I make a motion that we approve the
you're
warrants.
going to be a second?
You want to be second?
Because he already.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you,
Excuse
Valerie.
me. Thank you.
No.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Roll call,
Aye.
please. I don't know at the point at which I should mention that, but
Commissioner Pollard just asked for a roll call vote. All those in favor, oh,
Roll call.
President Norris,
yes.
Vice President Herron,
Yes?
Secretary Spikers,
Yes.
Commissioner Pollard,
no.
and Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Thank you.
May I ask a question as to, for so many years, why Commissioner Pollard, is this appropriate for me to ask?
I don't know. We've already voted.
I'm curious,
What we
yeah.
try, no, we try to avoid dialogue.
Oh, okay.
You can make statements, but we try to avoid dialogue among one another. Just so during debate
Yeah.
and discussion, you can express an
Okay.
opinion.
I guess the rationale is for me to understand the reasoning behind it. Maybe I'm missing something, I don't know. Because, we are all, part of this era as well. So anyway, that's my comment. Thank you.
So are the warrants approved then?
Yes, they are.
Formally? Now I
Yes,
can
they are
sign it.
formally.
Thank you. I don't sign until I hear that. All right.
Okay, next on the agenda is medical committee, I believe.
Well,
I don't know who has
Joan?
medical committee. Joan? Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Young.
I'm going to say that through Tom's reporting and David's reporting, you've almost covered the whole thing.
The whole
Yes.
shebang.
Anyway, the fall prevention events, I can tell you that the one at Snoqualmie Valley, carnation was outstanding. There's nothing but compliments up and down, all the way around. The flu immunization outreach events are going to start at 7 different locations with multiple days at some sites. And I'm not, that will all be announced when it happens. In November, we will host a Train the Trainer event for the National Staying Active and Independent for Life. It's a SAIL program. And Tom talked about the DOH survey. Just say that it's an unannounced survey over 3 days focusing on quality, infection prevention, patient safety. The surveyors include an RN, an environmental specialist, and a fire marshal. We had a major EHR downtime experience. One critical computer server failed. It took approximately 30 hours to recover and reinstate production capability. No patient events during downtime and no data loss. Next, mandatory flu immunization for all employees. All staff members who work in the walls of the hospital or clinic must have flu vaccine by November 3rd to be considered fit for duty. Immunization open door sessions have begun. And advanced care planning services will resume in mid-November after a newly identified staff member completes final training. We had a major opening for a social worker. And I think it's filled now.
Oh, it's good to hear. Yeah.
Yep. Harvard View telestroke neurologist to kick off is October 1st with implementation in 60 to 90 days. And in the pharmacy, the pharmacist verification of emergency department orders scheduled to begin on October 8th. Represents a change in industry tradition for the purpose of enhanced patient safety balance through the appropriate speed of medication delivery to the patient. And the rural health clinic, that's all taken care of. The veggie prescription program reviewed.
Yeah, this is good.
That's an interesting thing. It offers
For the
King
kids.
County's Healthier Here, Healthier Youth grant funding to connect families with need for fresh fruits and vegetables. And the prescriptions for participation will be handed out by clinic providers for redemption at the Carnation Farmers Market, which is open every day. They'll get tokens when they go there.
Who instituted the program? Who came up with that
Health,
program?
King County, yeah.
That's pretty
Healthier Here.
interesting. Very,
Yeah, their
Yeah.
community and hospitals and all other nonprofit organizations involved.
It turns out that veggie prescriptions are many times much more appropriate than handing out antibiotics for things that are not.
Yeah, too many antibiotics and they don't
We're
work.
giving too many antibiotics anyway.
The
Okay.
Healthier Here is the accountable care of King County organization, correct? That's what it is. The ACO.
Accountable communities of health,
Yeah, there we go.
which are all over the state. King County has named their
There's
accountable community health, healthier.
Healthier Here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Also, a viral prescription tool recently handed out, introduced in the clinic to hand to patients for whom an antibiotic prescription is not appropriate. And that's becoming more and more noticeable daily. Just because you have a runny nose doesn't mean you need an antibiotic, among other things. Okay. We've already voted on the medical staff. And antimicrobial stewardship program introduction and call for action. And that means right decision, right antibiotic, right dose through the right duration. Any questions?
No, are there any questions for Commissioner Young? Commissioner Pollard?
My understanding is that the Carnation Farmers Market closes in October. You mentioned it's open all year round?
Not all year round. I don't
Not
think
all
it's
year round, but.
No.
Pardon?
It's not year round.
Well, they publicize that they close in October. So I don't know whether that's true or not, but that's what they tell people.
I don't think it's going to close until November from what I'm looking at now, because I drive by there at least twice a day.
Okay, well, they say they're open through October or into October. They didn't say to the end of October or give an exact date.
We don't control their schedule.
They're open from like June to October, period. So I'm just curious about how these youngsters are going to get their fruits and vegetables after.
I think that would be the Carnation's responsibility, not ours. Thank you. That's my comment.
Is there any other questions for the medical
I'd like
committee?
to know how would these youngsters get their
Well,
vegetables under this program if Carnation Farmers
I will
Market's
check,
closed?
I will check in with my neighbor, who is also the head of Carnation Farms.
Yeah. Let me know.
Yep, I will.
Also, I'd like to see what we're doing, not just for staff, requiring them to have flu vaccinations or immunizations, but where is this program to immunize the community? I thought we had a big program that was going to start.
Yes, it will be 7 locations on the calendar with multiple days at multiple sites.
Okay, how can we find out what those locations are and the days and so forth? How's that going to be publicized?
We'll provide that. I don't have that in front of me here.
I don't. We meet at the very beginning of the month, so lots of things occur before.
And just as a matter of educating me on immunizations and vaccinations among staff, what about other vaccinations and immunizations that staff should have, like be sure that they have MMR, or maybe Prevnar 13 for pneumonia, or whatever. Maybe there's even state law about what shots they're supposed to have. Could you educate me on that?
I cannot, I'm not a clinician.
No.
But I can bring that forward to our chief medical officer for you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we could have that part of a work study or something.
Sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That would be appropriate time for that. Any other questions for medical committee?
Sounds like something also to bring back to medical committee.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Facilities committee is next. Those in attendance were myself, Emma Herron, Tom Parker, Kim Ritkoff, and Scott. Steve Daniels was out on vacation, I guess. We talked about the survey readiness walkthrough, and it's an environment of care walk that goes through, and it's done on a regular basis by Scott Nohavak. He's our director, facilities director, and the executive team. This provides an opportunity to always be survey ready and patient ready. The objective is to look at areas not only from a Department of Health surveyor perspective, but anything that may need attention. All areas are covered on a rotational basis. Old business, the signs. The sign outside, if you noticed when you came in, is bright, it's lit, and it's on our property, and it seems bigger to me. Maybe it's because it's lit, but it's much more visible now.
Yeah.
Parkway Monument sign, that's the other one. It's also visible in there. Snoqualmie Parkway Traffic Control, Tom has was contacted from a contractor for the Department of Transportation who was engaged to gather public information on how the traffic situation impacts them. No news yet from the city on the placement of rumble strips. We've continued to work on that. Also radar censored speed sign. The third and final traffic study is now underway, which can then lead to further conversation with the city regarding solutions for our left hand and getting in and out of our street. Making the hospital a community gathering place. There is a handout provided for everybody. Yeah, hideout. And I saw the girls tonight.
They're hiding?
They were hiding around. The Girl Scout troop. Which is on the second and fourth Thursday, so they're in the building tonight. You see a list of all the organizations here on the uses of the hospital meeting rooms. We have Cadet Troop, we have Planned Parenthood, we have Encompass more than once. Daisy Girl Scout Troop is who I saw tonight, and Cadet Troop. So we have a lot of groups in our facility.
Who are the Snoqualmie Ridge Cottages, HOA?
That's the one over here by Stellar Way. The very, yeah,
Is
the
it a
Stellar
homeowners
Way,
association?
there's a cottages there, yeah. That's who they are. They were the very first cottages that was built here years ago.
So is it a private organization?
Some of them have what we call the Habitat for Humanity memberships, the Labor of Love. They were all part of that as well.
Okay.
Can I comment on that?
Yes.
I think I'm hearing kind of between the lines a really good question, and that is, how do we decide on what organizations should use? And we really want our hospital to be a gathering place and have as many people as possible come here for that. But where there is a situation where somebody coming here and using the hospital provides them competitive advantage in the marketplace over some other organization, whether they're both for-profit, that's where we say, now you really need to go lease space for your organization.
Yeah.
But when they're nonprofits, health and human service agencies, we really want as many as possible to be here.
Have we been faced with that problem?
Not yet.
I didn't think so.
We just have an attitude, I think, about it.
Yeah, and I
Yes,
think
Commissioner
it's
Aaron.
helping that we were able to publish most of it from the newsletter, the Rich newsletter, so we're getting a lot more interested nonprofit and organization, or homeowners association involved.
Yeah. All right, other, Department of Health survey.
You're asking for questions about the report from the Facilities Committee?
I'm not done yet with the report on Facilities Committee.
Okay, it's other on the Facilities Committee.
Yes, on the back, the Department of Health survey. On September 10th, 2018, we had 2 surveyors from the DOH and the Fire Marshal conducted a 3-day state licensing survey, which is normally done every 18 months. Scott Novak went through how the environment of care and portion was done with the Fire Marshal. Survey went well. There were only 2 negative areas in the facility areas, outlets, and it had to do with outlets and fire dampers. Fire Marshal was looking for baseline reports for both areas that should have been provided to the Commissioner. Report when construction of the building was completed. Reports for the 2 areas were not done. Okay?
Are you okay, John? Water?
Water?
Water, John. Oh.
Coffee?
We'll wait. Anyhow, the reports were not done. A plan of correction for both of these areas has already been formed, and a baseline report will now be done. There are about 800 outlets in the patient area, patient care areas, and about 20 smoking areas.
Done.
Sorry. That's okay, Joan.
You want to maneuver?
I-90 Highway 18 interchange construction. Jim Mayhew from the Snoqualmie City Council was at our meeting. He's a liaison, and added that the city is working on plans to make an impact for an early relief of the traffic volumes during construction, and as well as areas for equipment staging. Construction is tentatively scheduled to start in 2021. There was no public comment, and our next meeting will be October 22nd. In the east-west room. Are there any questions, any additional questions for the facilities? Just Commissioner Pollard.
Just on the list of community uses of hospital meeting rooms, the stroke support group did not have a meeting during October. This was reported about October. They have essentially suspended their stroke support group to rethink the program. So that was canceled. That should be listed.
Thanks for the note on that.
Thank you.
It was been canceled. Yeah, they don't want to do it anymore after
Okay.
the event.
I think that's it there. Now we have Ad hoc Bylaws Committee.
Okay.
Commissioner Herron.
The committee met for its 11th meeting and reviewed the last meeting minutes as well as the comments, impressions, and suggestions that were provided to the committee at the board's workshop held on September 26, 2018. The committee reviewed, discussed, and considered the comments provided by the board and made additional proposed changes to the draft rules of procedure and anticipate, make sure I don't say procedures, and anticipate providing this document for the board's further review and potential approval at the November board meeting. The committee is also providing to the Board of Commissioners the proposed and initial draft of the bylaws in a red line strikeout format, and would ask the commissioners to review this and be prepared to discuss at the upcoming workshop to be held on October 24th, 2018.
Thank you for that update. Commissioner Herron, are there any questions for Commissioner Herron? Commissioner Pollard?
When will we receive?
At the end of the meeting, the bylaws, the draft bylaws will be given to all the commissioners.
At the end of what meeting?
This meeting.
This meeting tonight.
Tonight.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
That needed, that clarified. Thank you.
Great.
Okay?
Okay. Is there any other old business that needs to be addressed that I am not aware of? New business, we don't have any of that either. Public comment. Either one of you boys want to make a public comment?
We're going to twist your
Skip
arm.
that then. Thank you, gentlemen. New business, we don't have any action items, and we have other. Is there anything on
I
other?
do have one item.
Commissioner Spikers.
I guess, thank you. I wanted to address the affiliation and Mike Marsh, and since I've not been privy to any of the conversations or any of the information that's been going back and forth between the hospital and Overlake, the idea that he would not be looking at, would not be amenable to having anybody else in the meetings. So I'm kind of unclear, and I'm kind of upset a little bit about that. And I would like to have some kind of a meeting before, after the LOI is signed, because I'm not sure I would be looking at having, Dr. Whitcoff, not that she couldn't do it, but she's got a big plate right now. And I'm not sure, I think we should address whether that's what we want to do, is just allow her to be the only point person on this affiliation or not. And
Did you say allow her to be
yes,
the only
because
one?
apparently that's what we have left for.
Was she there before when
Discussion.
you were having dialogue with them, or was it just Jill?
It was just me and Steve
And Steve.
had been on a meeting where their CFO was also in attendance.
So
And I'm sorry, then we had a meeting where they came here, and we had a meeting in this room with a number of members of their team, and Steve and Kim and I were there.
And I do recall before, Dr. Whitcock was a part of the discussion before with the overlay, when we did that several years ago. So she is familiar with the staff. I don't know how.
I don't mind her being part of it, but if she's the only person, I
Well,
mean.
Steve, are you continuing, will you,
Steve will continue to be involved he's involved every day
Okay.
with this.
So it'd be Steve and Dr. Whitcock.
So how would you want to resolve
I'm
that?
not sure. I'm not sure.
Okay.
And I think that's
Do you
just
think?
to kind of decide that that's what we're going to do is probably something that I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Wait,
go ahead.
Now, explain to us when you expect to leave, when you would expect Dr. Whitcock to be taking over your responsibilities. That might help us a little bit. Is that what the board would like to hear? I kind of would.
That's November 23rd will be my last day.
Yeah.
Do you
Can
have
I
any
make
more
a
meetings
comment
with
now?
Overlake between now and then?
I have as many as we need. Mike is very helpful along the way, and I actually met with him regarding my departure, had a very good face-to-face with him on that.
Are any scheduled?
Not at this point.
So on his end, how many are present during this meeting with you and?
It depends.
Oh, it depends.
Sometimes it will be, so for example, Steve and their CFO, Andrew Tokar, and Mike and I have met. We had a large group meeting here. I've had one-on-ones with Mike.
Yeah.
It just depends on what we're working on.
Are they amenable if, because I think if I'm hearing Commissioner Spikers, we have Dr. Whitcup
Yeah.
and Steve.
Yes, so let me do, I think I can kind of cut to the
To cut to the chase.
and the sense of it
Right,
from
Sure.
Mike, and that is, so, for example, the idea of having some brand-new person come in as a contract, you
Yeah.
can find contracted interim CEOs, and he felt like that would be a starting over of establishing a relationship, a sense of trust. He feels like the relationship between the organizations really has to stand on people who have been here for a long time, know the organization, and can keep that going. And especially with respect to Dr. Wickup, somebody who's going to continue to be here. And that's the sense from him. Just dealing with a brand new person, I think we'd all recognize that there's some work to be done to establish a brand new relationship, and that's what he was trying to avoid.
Point of clarification. Now, if, for example, if Mr. Spikers were to be part of that negotiating team, that would not be seen by Mr. Marsh.
That's not a new person.
So what you're talking about really is if we were to bring in a consultant.
Correct.
Organization.
A consultant, a deal maker kind of personality.
But we're trying not to
I
avoid that we don't.
I appreciate that clarification
Yeah.
because I had somewhat the same reaction as Mr. Spikers, which is Mr. Marsh telling us who can be on our negotiating team. And that's the implication of what was said here.
Yeah, I apologize for expressing it that way, and I hope that this has provided some clarity.
Thank you.
No, I'm not asking for, I'm just going to put some input or put something out there. I think we should go forward and do it as we planned the LOI the next month. That's not the issue to me. We've participated as a board. We've approved that.
Right.
Yes, we
It's
did.
going to be done.
Right.
Okay, that's not the issue. And the points that we wanted to make and we wanted to negotiate from, those were the ones, that's not an issue.
That's in the LOI.
So what my concern, I think, is after this is done, and I'm wondering if it would be advantageous to have somebody in our court, not necessarily direct negotiation, but somebody available for consultation on this. Because I don't do a deal making. I mean, I do my own type of deal, but this is not my type of work.
So you're thinking about a behind-the-scenes advisor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would it be appropriate if the legal counsel, Skip Hauser, could be present as well
That's what
as
I
a
was
consultant? I don't think that would be
It's
Skip.
It's up to
The
you're
third,
board.
so there's
It's
a
up
third
to
party.
you.
But he will not make the
somebody
deal.
that does deals.
Well,
Somebody that does
consultation,
deals.
Okay, let's organize
Point of
ourselves a little bit.
clarification.
Yes, Commissioner Pollard.
I
Some of them
could
do.
not
Sure.
understand what Mrs. Herron was saying. What is it that she's
What I'm asking is it would be appropriate for a third person as an advisory or consultant, not making any deal, to invite maybe our legal counsel, Skip Hauser, to be seated there at the table with
So
Dr. Whitcup and our CFO.
let me just
So anyway,
throw in
that's
it.
just a question.
The chair recognizes our CEO.
Thank you.
Parker.
Steve and I, recognizing that part of the key to the process while we're in due diligence is the help of an attorney who is used to making deals, an M&A attorney who helps us through the due diligence process. We actually reached out to a law firm, Hall Render, and met with one of their attorneys, and this is what he does. He actually advises hospitals of our size on M&A deals, and he's part of the Hall Render group, and we were actually very impressed with his background, and I would recommend highly that we have him come and you get to hear from him about the work that he has done. We know we're going to need that kind of deal making.
That's what I was trying to get at,
Yeah.
whether it be a high-level consultant that we've already discussed in the past, or whether we have some kind of legal consultant that has the same level of knowledge, and that's fine with me. I just don't want to be walking this.
Legal help when it comes to getting a deal crafted.
Would
Does
that be
the-
seen by Mr. Marsh as a quote-unquote new person that he does not want to see?
No, because he's advising us, he's not really the one who's going to live the day-to-day working with them.
So it
He's
sounds,
helping with, this would be an advisor.
so
I
it
think
sounds,
it'd be okay.
So Mr. Marsh should be okay with that.
Oh, yeah, he knows that we're going to bring in outside help on deal.
That's expected.
okay, it seems to me that we're gonna have Dr. Whitcott and Mr. Marsh, is that what you said?
Oh, no,
No.
Steve reminded me.
Steve.
The attorney?
Brian
Okay,
Yes.
so it will be Dr. Whitcott and Brian Bauer
and Steve.
and Steve. Okay. Does the board feel comfortable with that?
Well, one thing I would still like to see is the board should see the LOI. I know we got those nice slides up there, but we should see them at
We will.
formulation.
We will.
stage.
Yeah, we will.
As
Yes.
We're not there yet. When it gets here, I would assume.
As soon as I receive it back from Overlake, who are working on it now.
Well, see, what's uncomfortable is it was finalized sufficiently to give it to Overlake without the board having seen it and agreed to it.
It is all in draft. You can object to the LOI as soon as you see it.
I think we should have seen it in draft before it went to Overlake.
It's already happened. I don't know that we can do anything about that.
Well, I can't do anything about it now, but I really find that very unusual that
It's not in front of their board. It is going back and forth between management so that we can bring to our board something that both organizations feel good about. Yes, Steve?
I'm just comment that when we get into the negotiations, we will have legal counsel, possibly however, bond counsel will be involved, as will, I think, CPA. So we'll have a lot of expertise as we look at the deal, as we look at the
Thank you
financing
for
of the deal.
making me feel better.
Yeah.
We're not on our own.
Okay.
And we have put enough money in the 2019 budget to
Okay.
get this expertise, because we need that.
And
Yeah,
as I
well-
recall, last time, we had some of that
Clarify
last
that
time.
again, please. That way all the commissioners heard it. It's in the budget for this particular, so that next year nobody will say, oh, it's not enough. Okay.
Consulting expense.
Thank you.
Mhm.
But
So we
sometimes
have
it
the
doesn't get
expertise
heard and
within the
registered.
deal.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Thank you.
You know, folks, it's hard to hear anybody when you're both talking at the
Sorry.
same time. It really is. Okay. So, did you hear everything he said?
I heard it, but I wanted it clarified so that we all heard it, not just me.
I'll be looking.
Okay, thank you.
All righty. So
Can I
let's
just
see.
add one little piece to this?
Yes,
It's very
Commissioner
helpful,
Young.
and Dr. Whitcott is part of the collaborative, which Overlake is part of.
Yes,
I know.
that's
Well,
true.
Eastside Health Network.
Ad hoc bylaws committee.
We finished that already,
finished
but we're
done.
still on
We're done?
other. I have another, on other.
Well, we have old business, so
We did
that.
that.
New
Public
business.
comment again?
We have not done that.
Twice?
You invited me.
I said
Well,
I was,
yes, I did.
I was
invite them.
gonna
Okay.
twist his arm.
Okay, new
Right.
business, we have none. Yes? No new business?
As David brought the other on the
Okay,
affiliation.
David, do you have other?
No.
No, that's what I had.
Okay,
It was on my mind.
I have another.
Okay.
And thank
Commissioner
you,
Herring.
Commissioner Spikers, for bringing to the table some of the issues, because I think we all need to have one voice. So my issue here is our behavior sometimes as a commissioner, where we direct, we tell our executive what they can and cannot do.
Yeah.
If there is an issue, it should be brought to the board. We are all one voice. It's also inappropriate for some of us to ask the CEO if the CEO could, for a behavior issue that I have, CEO to buy my lunch. I think that's inappropriate.
Yes,
You know?
I do. Yes.
Okay. It's also inappropriate for a commissioner to be invited, and that commissioner has to drink in front of that commissioner before a work study session. I think that is inappropriate to discuss a 30, 40 minutes information. So I'm being transparent about our behavior. We have to be very careful about how we approach the executive committee, our officers, and also the commissioners. It's okay to go out, have a, but if we're not going to a meeting and be drinking beer, I don't think that's appropriate. If we're meeting somewhere without any other, it's okay. What I'm saying is, if I'm calling you, Dariel, come on, let's go have a cup of coffee because I wanted to discuss something with you before the work study or okay, I'll go with it. But you should not expect me to be drinking in front of you to tell you my problem.
No.
That's not right, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm trying to understand where this is coming from.
No, but that's the things that I have been experiencing.
Okay.
And it's wrong, that I find it's wrong. So I'm laying it on the table that I have to be very careful about our, we all have to be careful about our behavior, our interaction with each other, and how we are really governing. We're not telling, or we're not, and if there's an issue, bring it to all of us as one voice.
Instead of going to an individual and telling them what you want them to do.
Right.
I agree.
Okay? That's my point here. Thank you.
But I'm just kind of curious about the drinking.
I don't know what that came from.
I'm not getting
I wasn't invited.
No,
so.
I'm sorry.
And I don't drink, so
I can give full disclosure right now.
I have another.
Yes, Commissioner Pollard.
And that is, Mr. Spikers mentioned that we're going to postpone the CEO incentive plan. What is our relationship with the consultants? How are we going to handle payment to them and resolution of our agreements with them as to how to proceed if we're going to hold this in suspense now?
They've been paid.
I've authorized the payment
Yeah.
for their fee, and they've given us a draft, and they've given us a document that we can then take a look at, and they've been paid.
Okay.
We resolve that.
So they've been paid for the entire process,
Right.
but they only really completed part of the process.
No,
they've done everything.
Their charge was to give us a plan. They have given us a plan and outline the plan.
We were to vote on it. That was it. That was the last thing that we were to do.
Yeah.
They didn't even have to be here for the vote.
you actually have a product in hand that you can use whenever you want.
We can dust off and use.
I think I'm going to follow up with Emma's discussion. And I think we need to continue to remember that as board members, we should be responding to things as a group, and that one commissioner should not be going to any of the executive team telling them what they want and don't want and making demands or assumptions. And I think that's part of what the issue is. As a board, we direct the staff, not as individuals, and we don't make demands of the staff, but as a board.
May I add a little bit before I forget? Also, I don't think one commissioner should not threaten another commissioner that she will expose all this to the taxpayers because I am the representative. It should not be that way. We should all be, moving forward. We need to really be, in sync with one another, not threatening each other or making one commissioner worse than the other and making yourself better than the other. It's not. That's not how we are. We need to be all in one voice and be good fellow commissioners, not trying to outdo each other here. Thank you.
Point of clarification.
Yes, Commissioner
You say no commissioner should direct the staff. I couldn't agree more. But any commissioner should be able to make suggestions to the CEO, and that should be seen as part of the job. Suggestions?
But it should be brought to the body.
No. I think any commissioner can make suggestions to the CEO and for that matter, other members of the staff, as long as it's couched as a suggestion. I mean, you yourself value diversity, and yet I'm here tonight. We've all got to speak in one voice. No, we are 5 different people, and we were each voted in by about 4,000 people, And so if we all going to speak as one voice, maybe we only need one strong commissioner and the rest of us can go home. No,
I think there's enough that's been said. Is anybody else other than Commissioner Pollard, Herring, or myself that want to say anything? Hearing nothing, I think we will move on. And I believe we are down to work study. There's the scheduled meetings coming up is the work study, October 24th, 2018, 6 o'clock here. Next regular meeting will be November 8th at 6:30 p.m., also here. And our annual budget meeting hearing. And I believe, is that open to the public?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so this is our open meeting, that is November 15th, 2018 at 6 p.m., also in this room. Is there any other business that needs
Well,
to be done?
I have a question because I'm looking at the calendar that Valerie provided us, and it says that our board meeting is the 1st of November.
Hmm?
You said
It does.
11/8/18, and I'm therefore confused.
Oh,
It is the 8th.
Let's see.
oh,
That it was, at one time talked about being on the 1st, and I think that's when my calendar did at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
It looks like it's on both.
Yeah.
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 We'll make that.
yeah.
So I can cross that one off.
It will be the 8th.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Val. All right, any other business? Okay, scheduled meetings, we already read that, so I think we are ready to dismiss.
I move to adjourn.
Okay.
Second.
All right.
Oh, I forgot to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Opposed?
Thank you.